Happy non-drinkers. They're the type of people that say that they can just take it or leave it, and they actually choose to leave it. They're happy about their decision of being a non-drinker. They're not fighting for it, they're not gritting through it, and they just live their life as they want to. Now, what do these drinkers do differently? How do they see the world? What's their paradigm? What's their worldview? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be breaking down in this video today. I'm going to be breaking down 8 things that a happy non-drinker does differently. In the first section of the video, I'm just going to be breaking down the distinction between a happy non-drinker and a sad non-drinker. Then we'll break down the 8 things that a happy non-drinker does. Now, there are timestamps in the description, so if you just want to skip ahead to the 8 things, go ahead. Just before we get into the video, if you want to get access to the free video training showing you how to control your drinking without AA or willpower, click the link in the description. I'll be showing you how to use the mental model called first principles thinking to get control of your drinking. I'll be talking about the 5 critical mistakes that 90% of drinkers make, and I'll also be sharing the 2 phases of becoming sober clear. You do not want to miss that training video. It will change your mindset around drinking forever so you can start getting your health, career, confidence, and relationships back on track. Click the link in the description for instant access. Now, firstly, guys, what's the difference between a happy non-drinker and a sad non-drinker? Well, I've been both. I've been a happy non-drinker. Well, I am a happy non-drinker, but I've also been on the other end of the spectrum. I've stopped drinking, yet I've been freaking miserable. I have hated it. And there is a very, very clear distinction between the two, and it all comes down to the way that you see alcohol. So every single attempt that I'd had in the past to stop drinking, I always felt like I was making a sacrifice. I always felt like I was giving something up that provided so much value in my life. So naturally, when I took it away, I wasn't happy about it. It's like taking something away that you really think that you enjoy. So it's like taking away a gym to somebody that loves going to the gym. It's taking away somebody's favorite book that loves reading. It's taking away somebody's family. That's what it felt like. Every time that I stopped, I was taking something away that I thought was a good thing. So my mindset and my general outlook and attitude towards the decision that I've made was negative. I hated it. I didn't want to do it. I was fighting it. I was resisting drinking because I'd given something up. And that didn't matter if during like the 9 months that I stopped drinking with willpower or the times that I've been to AA. I always felt like I was giving something up. So I was a miserable non-drinker. Now, I'm not saying that when you're a miserable non-drinker that there aren't good times. I'm not saying there's times when you forget that you've stopped drinking. There might be times that you go to events, but I'm just generally speaking that most of the time I wasn't really happy as a non-drinker. Now, these days, things are completely different. I don't want to drink. I have no desire to drink. I don't look at alcohol anymore and say, I wish that I could have 1 or 2. I wish I could be the normal drinker. I wish I could be like my successful friend that has 2 drinks and then doesn't drink for 6 weeks. I don't want to be like that person anymore because I'm so happy about my decision to make myself free. The freedom that I experience on a day-to-day basis, I would not swap that for the world. So I see alcohol in a different way now, and that's why I can still go to bars, still go to restaurants, still hang out with my girlfriend. My girlfriend can order a cocktail. I don't give one because I've got no interest in that life anymore. I'm done. I'm finished. It is just this decision, and I'm so happy about it. I don't fight it anymore. I don't resist it. I don't use willpower. It's just completely different. So the 8 things that I'm going to be breaking down that happy non-drinkers do differently are things that I've done in my own life, but it's also things that I've seen the members of the Sober Clear program do as well. And if you look on the screen now, you can see some of the reviews that we've got from the program. We're getting stacks of reviews now for the Sober Clear program, and these are things that I've heard other people talk about in the group as well. And if you want more details on that, click the link in the description or just head over to soberclear.com. But let's get into the first one. So the first one is they don't envy normal drinkers anymore. Now, every attempt that I'd tried to stop drinking in the past, I wanted to be a normal drinker. I wanted to be the person that had 1 or 2 drinks, right? I always wanted that. I wanted to be the guy that had a whiskey, right? Looked really cool, looked really sophisticated, and then went about life as normal, went back to their family, went back to their career, and nothing changed. I don't want to be that person anymore, but I used to. I really used to want to be that guy. And the happy non-drinker does not want to be the normal drinker. If they want to be the normal drinker, they ain't happy about their decision because they still think that they've given something up. They're still looking at the person that is drinking something that does nothing for them and wishing that they could do that as well. That's sad. I don't want to have to look at people for the rest of my life that have 1 or 2 drinks and wish that I could be like them. I don't want to be that anymore. So that's the first thing they do. They don't look at normal drinkers with envy. They look at them with pity because they're buying into an illusion. They're buying into something that does nothing for them at all. And I know that can be hard for some people to get their head around, but I'm going to keep hammering that point on these videos because it's so important if you want to live a happy life without alcohol. You've got to see it for what it is. Now, the second thing that a happy non-drinker does is that they get future focused. They are focused on the future. Now, I always say, in the Sober Clear program, we focus on the future. Now, I'm not saying that therapy and going into the past is not relevant. Like, there are plenty of people that need to go to the past. They need to talk to a therapist. They need to bring up issues. And I'm not saying that this is a replacement for that. Yet, at the same time, if you do need to go to a therapist, if you need to go and visit the past, you still should focus on the future, right? And I just think that this is so important. It's having a vision, it's setting new goals, and it's saying, I'm going forward. I'm I'm setting new goals. I'm focusing on my health. I'm focusing on my fitness, my relationship, my career, my business, whatever it is. I'm creating a vision and I'm going full steam ahead. Now, a happy non-drinker does this and they do this freaking well. Because if you're anything like me, when you're drinking, things don't go up and up and up. They don't go in a linear path. They meander and I go all over the place and I don't really get the progress that I want. So when I stop drinking and I could just start moving forward, that's where things get exciting. And then what happens is when you don't drink, you see the results of your labor. You see the progress that becomes possible again. And that is exciting. And the great thing is that when you're future focused, you'll reach a goal, but you know that you can set another one. You can set a bigger one. You can get more ambitious. You can just go for more. And it's the relentless focus on the future. That made such a difference in my life. Even during the times where I stopped drinking with willpower, setting goals, moving towards new things, trying to create myself into a better version of me, that always kept me going. And it can be a game changer. And it's why I'm so heavily invested in things like coaching programs, in getting consultants, in really just trying to improve my life and getting personal trainers, doing that stuff, because I want to focus on the future. I want to turn myself into the best person that I can be. And alcohol is so far away from the person that I am now compared to the person that I was when I stopped drinking. It just ain't gonna happen. Now, the third thing that a happy non-drinker does is they don't dwell on the past. They don't beat themselves up. Now, like I said, I really want to make this very, very clear distinction. I'm not saying that you don't need to go to a therapist. Plenty of people need to go to a therapist. I'm not saying that there's no value in this. But the happy non-drinker does not go and look back at their drinking and beat themselves up. They don't say to themselves, I hurt this person. I did this wrong. I'm a failure. I'm a loser. I'm an idiot. Why did I do this? It's all my fault. They don't do this. Because what's the point? What is the point of just beating yourself up? You make the decision to not drink and then you move forward. You make yourself better. Maybe you have wronged people. Maybe you have upset people. Maybe you've upset your wife, your husband, your kids, right? But it's done. Apologize and then improve yourself. Because then what happens is you give permission for these people to improve as well. So as you raise your standards in your own life, everybody else has permission to rise with you. So the happy non-drinker doesn't go to the past and say, I'm a failure. I'm an idiot. They don't use this terminology. They make the decision to not drink and they get busy. They get busy rebuilding things. They get busy rebuilding these relationships. They get busy rebuilding their life, fixing their mindset, going towards something new. Instead of going to the past and saying, I'm a loser. Because trust me, I've done that enough. Plenty of times when I tried to stop drinking and I couldn't stop, I think I'm a failure. I'm an alcoholic. I've got a disease. I'm going to have this for the rest. I'm going to be stuck like this for the rest of my life. I don't think like that anymore. The fourth thing that a happy non-drinker does is they typically don't label themselves. They don't give themselves labels like an alcoholic, like they've got a disease. Now, I am not saying, I'll just give you an example now. My mum has been to AA for 20 years. She gives herself this label of being an alcoholic. Is she a happy non-drinker? Yeah, I would say that she definitely is. So some people do give themselves a label of being an alcoholic and they're fine. They have a happy life. However, what I've noticed is the people in the Sober Clear program, we don't use this terminology because we're not alcoholics. We had a drinking problem. We removed the problem, which was the alcohol, and life just started going well again. So how can we be alcoholics if we remove alcohol and things just start getting better? I might be biased here because I don't give myself these labels either. I don't think that I'm an alcoholic. I never was an alcoholic. I was told that I was an alcoholic. I was made to believe that I was an alcoholic. If I go to society and say I have a drinking problem, they're going to say I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not buying into that anymore. So happy non-drinkers don't give themselves this label most of the time. Sure, some do, but to say that you're the problem and you're an alcoholic, you live with that for the rest of your life because it doesn't go away. It's a disease, an incurable disease with no known cure, according if you read the big book and so on. The happy non-drinker doesn't need to give themselves these labels because it does nothing to serve them. If anything, it hurts them. Now, I'm not going to go into that too much detail in this video, but let's move on. Now, the fifth thing that the happy non-drinker does is they have certainty around their decision. And when I say certainty, I mean certainty. They've stopped drinking. It's not like I'm trying to stop drinking. It's not like I'm doing a 30-day challenge. It's certainty. And I'm not saying that a 30-day challenge is a bad thing, a 90-day challenge is a bad thing, a year challenge is a bad thing. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that the person that's happy about being a non-drinker, they have certainty. It's not a trial anymore. This is it. This is game on. They're in. They're all in. They're committed. They have certainty that they have stopped. There's no second guessing. There's no questioning that decision. They're all in. They're committed. And when you get to that level of commitment, you're happy about being a non-drinker because you know that you can get around alcohol, you can go to bars, you don't drink. That's just it. You almost change your identity in your mind, right? It's just like you see alcohol for what it is, you've changed your identity on an inner level, and you can get around alcohol and just not care. And when you've got that certainty and that mindset shift, that's when you can just be the happiest non-drinker. That's how I feel. That's how I feel every day. I feel happy about my decision. And if you want help getting to that level of certainty, just head over to soberclear.com and you can learn more about the program. The sixth thing that the happy non-drinker does is they know for a fact that there are no benefits at all to drinking alcohol. None. Zero. right? Not even the tiniest bit of one. They know that there are no benefits to drinking alcohol. They know that the negatives are just out of this world. It's a poison that does nothing for them, and they know this without a shadow of a doubt. There's not a shadow of a doubt. The idea that it's a good thing doesn't go into their head anymore, which means that they are happy. It means that they can look at alcohol and not think, I wish I could have one or two, right? They know that there are no benefits at all, because there aren't. And when you know that, you don't need to resist anymore. You don't need to fight. Like, I don't need to fight not to drink bleach. I don't need to fight myself not to take heroin or smoke crack, because I know that these are hardcore drugs that do nothing for you. Yet the society that we live in, the people that we might surround ourselves with, our friends, our family, our teachers, our colleagues, whoever, they think that alcohol is a good thing. They think that there's a benefit to it. They think that it helps them at these social occasions, that it gives them confidence. Yet really, doesn't that exact same drug destroy confidence, destroy courage? So the happy non-drinker knows that there is not a single benefit, because there isn't. That is a fact. The seventh thing that the happy non-drinker does is they don't explore the craving. Now, this is going to sound a little bit strange, and I have made a video talking about this in the past. If you click up here, you can watch the video talking about alcohol cravings. But the happy non-drinker, they don't explore the craving. When you stop drinking, you will think about alcohol. It's impossible for you to not think about drinking. You will think about drinking. We live in a society, we have media, we have the internet, we have advertisements. Boom, the alcohol companies want you to drink. You are going to see alcohol again. Your friends, they're probably going to encourage you to drink at some point in your life. A colleague or a business associate may encourage you to drink. We've got to be okay with that. And what we need to do is we need to know that we're going to think about drinking. But you have a choice. You either think about drinking and start thinking that it's a good thing. You start thinking about all of the great things of drinking. You start going into this delusional mindset and buying into the illusion that everybody else is buying into. And when you go that way, guess what happens? You know what happens. It goes into a craving. And where does a craving go? It goes to the flipping bar. It goes to the shop and starts drinking. Right? You have a choice. When you think about alcohol, you can use that to remind yourself that you're free. You can use that to remind yourself it's a done deal. It's already finished. So the thought never develops into a craving. Now, click up here to get access to that video. I go more in depth, and I think you should watch that one after this if you want more information on the craving. But the happy non-drinker doesn't explore the craving. Which leads me to the eighth point, which is the final point. And the happy non-drinker has an open mind, and they're willing to see things in a completely different way. The ideas that I share on this channel are uncomfortable. There are so many people that watch this stuff and they can't sit and watch it. It's questioning the truth and their beliefs way too hard. This is hardcore stuff. This is hardcore content. If you've got a drinking problem and you're actually able to sit through this stuff, you're probably an open-minded person. You're probably somebody that is willing to question the beliefs that they've held for their whole life. And that will serve you. And happy non-drinkers are fantastic at doing this. They're willing to say, do you know what? I'm leaving my ego at the door. I'm just gonna go there with fresh eyes, with an open mind, and I'm just gonna be open to new information, new ideas, new things that can change them. And when you can do this, that's what can help you build the paradigm and the understanding and the worldview where you start to see alcohol for what it is. That open-mindedness can just make you a happy non-drinker. That alone. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.